Hey everybody, this is Tammy, and if you're new here, welcome to our channel. If you've been here before, thank you, welcome back. Today I am starving, okay? And it's Sunday, and we actually had to work all day today instead of hanging out like we usually do on Sunday. And so we're gonna have Hoppin Johns, which is a black-eyed pea, and hot water cornbread, rice, white rice, and fried pork chops. And we're fixing to get started like right now. So the first thing we're going to do is start our rice so it can get done. Okay, we're going to start with our flames on high, and we're going to put 2 1/4 cups of water with 1 cup of rice and salt to taste. And we're going to let that come to a boil. Anyway, all right. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to get this flame going. And we're going to start our Hoppin Johns. Aha, there we go. And the first thing we're going to do with the Hoppin Johns is cook us a little bit of bacon. Okay, and I just cut it in little bitty squares, you know, right off of the pack. And we're just going to drop that in there and let that start browning. Yeah, that's going to take a few minutes to let that, to let that fat cook down. You know, I'm from the South. We don't eat nothing without fat. It's just not going to happen. Okay, we're getting a little bit of action here. Some of that fat's rendering out of that bacon, and so we're just going to give it a stir, make sure it don't stick. Okay. And you guys know, you can see down in this pan, don't judge me. You're only supposed to bleach this thing like 4 times a year, and I just did it. So it's going to be kind of chunky dunky for a while. Right, we're just going to continue to let that brown, and our rice is still not up to boil, so it's good. Okay. We've got that bacon just about where I want it now. And we're going to start loading the pot. I didn't think about the Hoppin Johns until it was too late to pre-soak, so I'm just going to use cans. I already got them, and that's way faster, and tonight that's what we're going to do. We're going to cheat. So I'm going to take 2 cans of black-eyed peas that I've opened, and we're just going to drop them in the pot. Hear that sizzle? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take 2 of those. That way Randy and I'll have lunch for tomorrow too. There we go. And then I'm going to need about 1/2 of a can of diced tomatoes. Which I don't know if I can. Oops, a little bit too much for me, but it'll work. My 1/2 can, stir it around. Okay, we're going to put our spices in now, which I already went ahead and put together for us to save time. I'm going to, here we go. It's a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of chili powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. And we're just going to drop that right on in there. Make sure we get it all. Okay. Alright. And then I'm going to add a little salt. But I'm just going to, eyeball salt. That's a personal preference, salt is. So we're going to get that in here. Going to stir that around. And then we're going to add about 1/2 can Or if you like, if you like chilies, you can put the whole can. But I'm going to put a half of a 4-ounce can in there. So like 2 ounces of chili pepper, of diced green chilies. There, that looks good. And we're just going to stir that up. We're going to let it come up to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to put it down on low and I'm going to let it cook, probably about 15 minutes. I mean, you just want the flavors to meld. Canned black-eyed peas are already done, so you just really just want that melding. Okay, we're going to turn this down now. The rice, we're going to turn it down to a medium low flame and just let that rice finish cooking. We've got some bubbles over here, so we're going to turn this down now. We're going to turn our Hoppin Johns down. Okay. Slide the lid on there. Okay. All right, now we're going to start this front eye up here, and we're going to start this there's probably 2.5 cups of water in here. Doesn't matter, just start you some water. All right, we're going to start that water, and we're going to let it boil. Just let it come up to a boil. There's nothing in it, it's just water. That's for our hot water cornbread. Okay, we're going to check this rice and see how close to done we are. Oh yeah. Okay, rice is done. We're going to just turn that off and let it sit. And then we're going to come over here and just stir our Hoppin Johns and make sure they're not sticking. They shouldn't, but just to be safe. Put that lid back on. Now we're just waiting for this water to get hot so we can make our hot water cornbread. If you don't know what hot water cornbread is, it's just hot water and yellow or white cornmeal mix. And a mix means that it already has the baking soda in it and the baking powder and the salt. So it's pre-made, so it's ready to go. If you don't have the one that says with hot rise or with with baking powder, whatever, then you just add like 1 tablespoon per cup of regular cornmeal of the baking powder and like a half a teaspoon of salt, and you have mix. You're good to go. But I have the mix, so that's what we're going to do as soon as this water gets hot. Okay, I've went ahead and I'm going to turn this eye on and let my pan get hot. I love cast iron, but if you don't do it right, you're going to get sticking. So we're going to let this get good and hot before we ever put anything in it. We're just going to let it sit and get hot on that heat. My water is almost to a boil. There's little bubbles in the bottom, so it's plenty good enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn that one off. Oh, we already did. Okay, we got that turned off. I'm going to take 1 cup. Because it's just Randy and I, and this is really too much for us. If you need more and you have a bigger family, then, you can always double it. But you just start with 1 cup of your mix, and then I'm going to move that out of the way. And we're going to pour 1 cup of your boiling water and about 1/4 Don't get carried away with the water yet. Put that in there. We're gonna go like this. And see, now today, I put too much water. So now I'm gonna have to add some more to my mix. I still think that's, still a little runny. Let's try a little more. I'm gonna have enough cornbread tomorrow. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, you want that consistency or just a little thicker? I'm going to go with this because I don't want a whole bunch of extra batter, but that's going to work right there. And then my pan is still not good and hot, so we're going to raise that up just a hair. Because I want that pan good and hot before I ever put the lard in there. Okay, and we're done with this. We don't need any more water. We're good. Then we're going to check this, make sure we're not sticking. We're not. We're just going to put that lid back on, let it simmer some more. And let's go ahead and test that pan. There we go. That is good old-fashioned lard. Okay. Well, we're gonna let that get good and hot. You can let it melt. Make sure it's covering the pan. And then we're just going to drop little spoonfuls. Okay, and see these bubbles like pancakes? That's perfect. That is just what you want. And then you just want to flip. Oh, then it needs to be a little browner than that, so let's wait just another minute. This is a real great way, instead of in the summertime heating up your oven, this is just as good as any cornbread. Oops, wasn't hot. Get this on this, get that on the eye. It didn't want to brown up right. It doesn't take very long, and it's tastes great, and you didn't heat up your house, you know, with the oven. and everybody be just as happy. In fact, kids, my kids and grandkids like these better than cornbread because they can just plop the butter or jelly or whatever they want on it, and without having to have somebody help them cut it and all that, they just grab them up off the plate and go. We're gonna check that one. Yeah, it's getting close. And you just want it to brown on both sides, so the hot water or the almost boiling water has pretty much cooked that cornmeal, so you're really just browning it. Oh, here we go. This one's finally, there we go. But see, like I had to use that extra to make it thick enough. That's enough for 2-3 days for Randy and I. Yep, that was a boo-boo. There we go. We're going to take these. Oh yeah. Okay. And we're going to set this. We're going to set it somewhere. And then may just put me a little more lard in there. Just to be sure that I'm not going to stick. Okay, we're already up for load number 2. Now, if you have a stove with a griddle or you have an electric griddle, pancake griddle, then you can do a whole lot of these at one time on that griddle. But yeah, there's just Randy and I, and there's no reason for me to break out that griddle, so we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. See that sizzle? That's what you want. You want that sizzle. There you go. These turned out prettier than the first 4 because, you know, now my pan's good and hot. I should have waited. Go. Okay. Oh, almost. Not quite. All right. Gonna pull these off now. And that's more than enough for Randy and I for a meal. So we're going to put the other in the fridge. You can keep that batter overnight in the fridge, but you may have to adjust it with more water or, you know, to get the consistency right after it sat in the refrigerator. Now we're going to check our Hoppin Johns. Okay. This will be the last check. Yep, they look great. This will be the last check on our Hoppin Johns. They should be perfect. So we're going to get that cut off. And we're going to start our pork chop. Okay, what I do is I salt, garlic pepper. I salt and pepper, and then I put garlic powder on both sides. And then I just take a Ziploc bag with plain all-purpose flour in it. Which sometimes you can't get into. There we go. Alright, we're going to open that up. I have put about a half a cup of lard in here and letting it melt. And as soon as that gets good and hot and all melted, I'm going to drop these pork chops in there. But I'm going to show you how to do this. I just get it all covered up. Get that flour to stick. Shake the excess off. And lay it right in that grease. There we go. We're going to do it again with the second pork chop. Going to mash that. Get it all in there. Go in there. Shake off my excess. And drop that pork chop right down in that lard. Oops. And then while we're cooking those, and your rice is done, your Hoppin Johns is done, they've cooked for 15-20 minutes. All those flavors are happy in there. Then we're going to take these, the hot water cornbread, and we're going to put real butter on them. Not margarine. We're going to put real butter. And then, if you like, you can even put like pear preserves or peach preserves or, syrup. Especially if you have some sorghum syrup, real cane syrup. That is wonderful. That is better than any pancake you can get. And it's so simple. They're so delicious. And so there you have it. Let's just wait on those pork chops and we're going to eat. Alright, now our pork chops are the last thing. And we're just letting them sizzle. I don't turn them a whole bunch of times. I let them get good and brown on one side. I let the blood and come up to the top. When it gets good and yucky up there, then I know it's time to flip. Okay, our pork chops are getting, yucky. They're coming out the side. And Granny always, you just have to realize, where I came from. And anytime anything didn't look perfect, it was yucky. So it's a yucky top on the pork chops before you flip it. Now, I use lard. Some people think that's a terrible, terrible thing, okay? But you can use whatever kind of oil you like. You can use vegetable, canola, corn oil. It really doesn't matter as long as you're cooking your pork chop in oil. Alright, now they're good and yucky, and we're going to flip them and see that perfect brown color. We waited just right. Look at that. And we're going to let that other side cook just like this side. It's probably maybe 6-7 minutes a side. I mean, you just have to, depends on how hot you have it, how thick the pork chops are. I mean, you just have to watch it. And make sure that you cook it all the way through and it's 160 degrees inside, which I've done it so long I'm not sticking a thermometer in there, but it'll be right. Alright, we're just going to open this up right here in the center. And it is not done. So, we're going to put it back down in there and just let it keep cooking. We flipped it over again. And I'm going to test it one more time. And it is done. Check this one. And it is done. Pork chops are done when they're like clear. When there's no juice running. And they're nice, white, pretty meat. They are done. So, we are going to pull those off. And we are going to plate up dinner because that's all we were waiting on. Well, I only brought 2 plates out here, so I'm going to put one of these pork chops over here for Randy, and I'm going to leave his hot water cornbread on his plate. I'm going to come over here and open up this rice. That's what good rice looks like. We're going to put that right here. And we're going to go inside here. And get us some Hoppin Johns with all that juice. You have a meal fit for a king. And one more thing. I make jalapeno jelly every year. I grow jalapenos specifically to make jalapeno jelly because Randy loves it, I love it, my kids love it, my in-laws love it. It's wonderful. It's sweet with a little spice, but it's not hot. You know, I mean, you could make it hot, I guess, if you like. You could include the seeds when you made the jelly to make it a little hotter, but we like it just like it is. So that's what he's going to just put all over his pork. All right. We're fixing to eat. Oh my God, it's so good.